Unexpectedly tomorrow, we are getting a Celestial Island update, it looks like. So let's take a look at what we can expect tomorrow. So inside of the teaser that we've got, we see inside of Clubbox, and then we get a look at all of his wonderful Celestials inside of Clubbox. Now, we've had a seasonal trailer for every single main seasonal event right in the middle of when the event is happening. So honestly, we should have seen this Summer Song one coming, which means Mind Boggle's actually going to be coming a little later inside of the month. But besides that, his main scenario here is if we head over to the promotions behind the game, it says the young Celestials are dancing up a storm in Clubbox. And this is directly referencing towards the Celestials, so I do think tomorrow we are going to be seeing a form of Celestial update, which is really exciting. But what on earth does this mean for Celestial Island? The Celestial Island, it's not been updated in forever, so what are they planning here? Well, before we go over that, make sure to hit that like button, guys, as it sure does help me out. Now, we've recently had Woodland Island just get updated with the rare Wobblins back in Extravaganza, and it got a really big update, honestly, and Celestial, honestly, just getting this treatment, oh my god, as a My Singing Monsters fan right now, it just feels so great. Just any form of Celestial Island update, and I am here, guys. It's not been updated since it was released, right? And all the monsters finished. I don't know if Forgotten Island just getting updates. I know we love that. Yeah, yes, peck it there. You're getting there, love. So it's likely that for Celestial Island, we're going to get similar mechanics to Woodland Island with the polarity and the likes that they added, and just more love being thrown at this island. But specifically with the Wobblins, we got rare Wobblins. So does this mean that we're going to be seeing rare Celestials? That's what I'm sure everyone is going to be thinking. Now, the Celestial monsters are the hardest monsters, period. The single elementals required inside of the things is absolutely crazy, and the designs themselves, they just don't have that wow factor that the Wobblins have. The Wobblins are unique, quirky, they're loved by the community. I don't feel like that's the same with the Celestials, and honestly, on Stonehenge, they look way cooler. I don't really see the Celestials matching up to that from a gameplay standpoint, especially with them being so hard to get. They could be made to feel really cool, but just with the baby forms, I feel like that would be a hard move for them to make. And most importantly, it's been confirmed, if we head over to Monster Handler Matt for a second here.
It is unlike Celestials, where there's only officially one manifestation of each of those elemental avatars.
Yes, you heard it right, that there's only one of each Celestial inside of the lore, canonically. Now, you can go ahead and buy more on Celestial Island, but in terms of the lore and the story behind the game, there's only one of each monster, and the rares are evolved forms that have evolved differently to the common forms, and they can't be a different common form if there's not more than one common form. So while it's something to add here, they would have to come up with a new mechanic or a form of explanation towards how these rares could exist, and even though it's something that can be added, going back to his point here, I don't think that it needs to be added, right? There's other means, there's other ways to go about this, and I don't think anyone really wants this with the level of hardness. I feel like people who are going visiting other people's islands are going to be going, wow, this is cool, but for the people getting them, it's going to be really hard, and the rare Wobblins don't even really produce that much different currency, so I don't really see the point behind this. I feel like there's a far cooler and different way to go about things, and that would actually be, for me, going back to the adult forms of the Celestials. The adult forms of these monsters, they are so cool on Stonehenge, and as I was saying before, they just feel kind of lame, the baby forms, when I'm looking at them inside of the original game. I get where they were going with them in trying to make them different somehow and design them differently to try and encompass that inside of them, but honestly, it just doesn't feel as cool as Stonehenge. The massive evolved forms, you have all the special powers that they have when they're evolved forms, and actually going back to them special powers that they have on Stonehenge, if we were to get them adult forms inside of the main game, that would mean we could actually go back towards those powers and go, oh, the Celestials have got them now. So Galvana can create monsters, Syncopype can use its time-bending powers, and that could be really cool for the lore and potential future lore advancements that we could see with the game. It would take away from Stonehenge potentially feeling more special inside of Dawn of Fire, but honestly, we've got all the fires at this point. We have the Celestials, we just have everything. The only thing that we don't really have is the baby forms of monsters, which Dawn of Fire can keep, but the adult forms, that is way cool. And if we're getting everything in My Singing Monsters anyway, then it makes sense for Celestial Island to feel way cooler. I mean, they're just iconic on Stonehenge, and then you look at the original game and it's just kind of like, it feels lame. game. It doesn't feel cool in the consonant sense. It just doesn't feel as good to me. And I don't know how else to put it. We could have new animations behind these guys if they were to be added, and just the general idea too of having this unique mechanic that couldn't really be implemented anywhere else, as you're not going to be getting these monsters evolving and aging inside of the game and it making canonical sense really, aside from them doing it with the Celestials. So it'd be interesting from a mechanic standpoint from that too. And we already have the designs. It's not like they have to make up new ones. Just make them My Singing Monsters Array. Like with the fires, My Singing Monsters Array. My god, that is a bit of a tongue twister. Also want to bring up Monster Handler Matt again for us exploring this possibility of the Celestials going into their adult forms. So let's take a listen here to them again.
It might take a long time for them to grow up, and if I had to guess, that growing up will continue to take place on Celestial Island.
So as you guys heard there, they didn't necessarily deconfirm the aspect of the Celestials evolving. They just went they would need time to evolve. So this is quite interesting, as it could mean that they potentially had the idea in mind at the time, and I think the fact that it was not deconfirmed does bring about the potential behind this feature actually happening, which is quite interesting. I want to see the advancements for the lore mainly, and for Celestial Island to finally feel cool, as that island is so hard to get them, and I feel like it would be way more worth it if they had the adult forms there. Now we're going through every single opportunity here, as I ain't wasting any time, because God knows what is coming with this update. But the other thing that I was thinking of, I feel like, which also is going to be on you guys' minds, is could we see some new Celestials? Now, I know there's lots of conflicting opinions of this. The main conflict that everyone has behind adding new Celestials is the fact that Celestials each represent a month on the calendar. So, for example, Galvana, July. Gartor, which we've just had, August, with Rare Wobbling coming up. You know, there's all of these Celestial links towards the calendar. And then if you go ahead and add more, they just can't be them links anymore. So I do understand where everyone comes from that standpoint. However, looking back onto Dawn of Fire and how Dawn of Fire, everything has just been taken from it. There was no reason, to me at least, why Celestial Island exists in the form that it does right now. I understand that it's got a cool song, but just logistically, looking at how it's the exact same monsters from Stonehenge, I just don't see much point towards it being added in the original game in the first place. This update, it's going to do amazing. It's going to do wonders for this, as honestly, it's going to bring about that uniqueness that I've been wanting for years now, and finally give reason towards Celestial Island. But I feel like we still do need that ounce, that drop of something else beyond the Celestials. And new Celestials would give us that. However, I do feel like this could be quite unlikely, and actually, we need to go in game right now, because I feel like there's actually a hint towards what this update could entail inside of the game. So in the game right now, if you click on your Celestials, oh, look at that, we have a new button that pops up, and that is the costume button, and that wasn't there before. So I do think this is intertwined into the update that we're going to be receiving tomorrow. So it could involve us getting these adult costumes behind the monsters. This could be how we get them. I mean, the Celestials are already hard enough, and adding a costume button and painting just a little diamonds for it, I feel like that might honestly be the best way to go to get adults, to be honest, because I don't know if people will be willing enough to go ahead and choose all of those noggins, all of those single elementals, and then do something else. Might be a bit unjust, to be honest, but this could be a way for them to do that, or just in general, we could be seeing new costumes here. Or we could even bring up the dreaded thing, the Colosseum. I say dreaded, but I've got to be careful. I know people don't share the same opinions as me sometimes about the Colosseum, so to me, I'm not really bothered about the Colosseum. I just want the costumes, man. I have no care for this thing whatsoever. I hope it isn't, because I like seeing other things behind the game. We've recently got the Ethereals over there, though, so we do have to bear it in mind, and if they do sprout off and do this, oh man, I just can't imagine it. Teleporting them to the Colosseum and getting more, nah, ain't my thing, ain't my jam, and I would not be wanting to do that. No matter what, I just don't want to. I feel like even for a video, I am not probably going to want to do that thing. However, I do feel like it is going to be more than this, as it has a whole trailer. The whole summer song trailer that we are getting this year is dedicated towards the Celestial. So I feel like that is a pinpointer towards us expecting something more with this update, and Celestial Island getting more treatment than just Colosseum treatment. We'll put it that way. Anyway, though, make sure to let me know what you think down below in the comments. This update is a bit unexpected. We've got Mind Boggle another 2 weeks from now, more than likely. I wasn't expecting this turnaround of events, especially so close to anniversary. Maybe it's signs of them knowing that they have a lot planned and just not caring at this point. So, interesting. We'll have to see what happens there. But make sure to let me know down below, guys, as I'll be sure interested in you guys' opinions today, as the update is honestly very speculative at this point. What they could do to the island, it could be anything. So, man, this is exciting, and I am really excited to read you guys' comments. I'll see you later, though, for now. What you doing, and see you later. I don't know why I want to bring up Watcher, but we're doing it, okay? Bye, guys.